This was a particularly strong group of shows to choose from, so it was really difficult. It was really a job of editing, of making sure that we hit those things that we need to hit, which is work that speaks to a variety, a diverse audience, work that is for families, work that is serious and political, work that's fun and funny, shorter pieces, longer pieces, dance pieces, theater pieces, music, that we just kind of hit all of those marks so that there's really an opportunity for anyone to find at least 5 pieces that they love.
Not only is it gorgeous and it's beautiful and we show live theater, but we show theater that matters and we show theater that's important for other people to learn and grow from.
I have certainly evolved how I look at work over the last 8 years that I've been doing this at the Cultch. I now actually can stand back after seeing a work and go, I think that's a Cultch work.
Theater, the dance, the music, it is always just a little over the edge.
If I had to, I would say it's eclectic, it is informing, it is warm and community building and transcendent.
We are theater, we are dance, we are music.
What we do today in terms of populating 3 stages now instead of just 1 is positively amazing.
Sunya is a fusion piece, a very beautiful piece that pulls music and movement from multiple cultures and comes together in as a really transcendent experience.
Richard Jordan is bringing another show to the Cultch, and he just keeps hitting a ringer after ringer. We have Big Mouth. This is a tour de force about orators.
We're going to be presenting Pi Theatre's production of The Invisible Hand. It's an honor always to work with them, with a playwright who is all the talk in New York right now and in London.
The Gay Heritage Project, which comes from Buddies in Bad Times. It's great that they're programming work here and that the Cultch is bringing fantastic theater from across the country.
Like, I'm not comfortable in front of people, I have to say. I always worked, for the most part, backstage and behind the scenes, and then when you have to do it, you have to do the public speaking thing. It just, like, for me, it's so exciting. It's like being able to just invite people into your house and say, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here.
Are We Cool Now? Which is our first show of the 15-16 season. I love Dan Mangan and I love musicals.
He has some lyrics that are absolutely heart-gripping.
So much of his songs seem to be about love and longing and living in Vancouver and travel.
He's an indie rocker, he's very popular, and I like shows that use music in different and innovative ways.
It feels like something risky and exciting, even though it's got the base of this great music.
I just love the breadth and the depth of work that we see in this city, and the Cultch has it in spades for this next coming season. We have 2 shows that are actually associated with VAC, the Vancouver Asian Canadian Theatre Company.
I like to think of myself as a pretty modern man, in contrast to my Japanese father, who never said, I love you, never hugged me, but big deal. So for a long time I thought, well, I'm just the ideal, not even modern man, just complete human being, until my kids asked me this question.
Have you ever cried a real cry in your life?
And I began thinking, well, I guess the short answer is I never cry because my father never cried. And he never cried because his father never cried. Who was the first idiot in my ancestry who just stopped crying and ruined it for the rest of us?
The play is very much informed by an understanding that most of what people do and most of what we do is actually governed by unconscious forces we're not even aware of. And to that degree, we're not free.
He's working with another person who has a background as a performing artist. Ruth Bosey has also been a therapist herself. And I cannot imagine what the give and take is going to be between those 2 people, but I'm sure it's going to be fascinating.
I'm really excited about A Simple Space. It's coming from Australia and it's a circus show.
It's really intimate and gritty and exciting, and you kind of lose your breath.
I'm so excited to just see the spectacle and the amazing things that people can do.
We're going to have some of the audience sitting on stage at the York Theatre because it really is a show you want to be up close and sort of smell the sweat.
Gating, a very poignant piece. It's the Chinese couple who've lost their son. And the discussion that happens is over dinner with their son's Caucasian boyfriend.
I'm the arts coordinator for the city of Richmond, and we brought Gating, we did the workshop production in Richmond. And so I was really supportive of the play in terms of my job, so to now see a next iteration of it on the Cultch stage is really, really exciting.
I think that the Frank has captured such a unique in terms of what we've seen on stage, but actually a really universal perspective, so I can't wait to see it.
I'm also thrilled that we will be partnering with Push again on one of the most kind of cerebral pieces, I think is the word to say, that is in the season, that Century Song by Volcano Theatre from Toronto. Really fascinating mashup of opera, video, ideas, music history.
Ross is a colleague who's totally inspirational to me, and his company is always asking big questions in ways that are super engaging, but also like deal with the world that we live in.
Nima Bickersteth, the soprano who's part of the show, she's fierce, to be holding that stage as a solo performer, the amazing visuals that are a part of the show, and the way that they're approaching dealing with history and thinking about history and that part of history.
The dancers of Damla Hamid. I've worked with them in the Children's Festival before, but this is a great commission because it really gives an opportunity for that company to show its maturity and its evolution.
I think the work that they're doing in terms of contemporary Aboriginal performance is so important. To see traditional masks alive like that. These things that as a kid I've only seen at the Museum of Anthropology or in textbooks, but to kind of bring that forward as what they are, a living, breathing, live part of our culture as people on the west coast of Canada. Very excited about that.
I'm thrilled to say that Ronnie's back with Daisy Theatre again this year. We just can't get enough of him.
Everybody's favorite, I'm sure. I've seen all of his shows here. I think there's been 7 of them now. Got to get the tickets. Phone up everybody you know, say you got to get tickets to Ronnie Burkett. Fantastic shows.
I like to see how he evolves his shows year after year. I followed his work. I lived in Toronto and I saw his work there as well. So I'm excited about that.
Well, one of my favorite things about the season of the Cultch is always there's such a great combo of local and international. And in looking at the season, I'm really intrigued by the show Nearbaya, which is about the terrible, terrible gang rape of a young woman in Delhi a couple of years ago. And I feel like the theater is the perfect genre to deal with a topic that is so heartbreaking and an issue that is so prevalent in our society, and perhaps allow us to widen our hearts and think about how we can move forward as a society and how we can heal from tragedies like that as a society.
It is one of the most remarkable pieces of theater I've ever seen. It is a work of love.
The story is about an older woman who begins a relationship with a quite a bit younger man. We get to see all the different judgments that come up. Audiences can expect a lot of laughs and I think maybe some different perspectives on how we see relationships.
François Archambault, his writing is terrific, and to see a new play of his just thrills my theatrical bones.
You Will Remember Me, and I think that's going to be a killer show. It's got Kevin McNulty in it and Patty Allen, both of whom have a drawer full of acting awards, Jessie Awards.
And the dark humor and some of the absurdity of his writing, I think, is a really good fit for Vancouver audiences. And Diane has just the right directorial touch with his work.